Nightmare on Elm Street 5: The Dream Child was released in 1989, directed by Stephen Hopkins and starring Robert Englund and Lisa Wilcox. The pregnant Alice finds Freddy Krueger striking through the sleeping mind of her unborn child, hoping to be reborn into the real world. When this film was released in 1989, I saw this with my folks when I was 5 years old. Back then, I was a huge Freddy fan. 5-year-old me leaving the theater after seeing Dream Child and being super disappointed. And rewatching this film again, the same feelings I had about Dream Master with a lot of missed opportunities applies to this film, but I also feel that the issues that were plaguing Dream Master, especially with the tone and the lack of any horror, are even more apparent in The Dream Child. In terms of what I like, the practical effects and set design, as well as the gothic tone, I really dug about this film. The scene with Dan being fused with the motorcycle is an awesome effect. I really wish that so much of it hadn't been cut out because of the MPAA. I also really liked Greta's kill, but yet again, so much of it is cut out. And then there's Mark's kill. Yet again, really cool idea. It was something different, something creative, but then it gets ruined by the kill itself because it's so sanitized. In terms of Freddy's makeup, it looks really cheap, but also incredibly clean. And the same thing goes for Freddy's wardrobe. He doesn't look dingy or dirty. Just like with the effects, Freddy himself is sanitized, both from the visual aspect as well as the characterization. And speaking of the characterization, this is one of my least favorite outings of Freddy Krueger as portrayed by Robert Englund. He's constantly making one-liners that sound like something out of a comic book or something from Looney Tunes. He's constantly joking, and nothing about him is scary. There's a couple of one-liners I like, especially Bon Appetit, bitch. But the one scene that always makes me cringe is when he has his super long arm for some reason, and he yells out, "It's a boy." This physically made me cringe. There's some interesting backstory, like seeing the birth of Freddy Krueger and finding out more of what happened to Amanda Krueger, but then it's ruined by the weird Freddy baby. And while we're on the topic of babies, baby Jacob is dreaming, obviously, and he's able to pull people into dreams. It kind of reminds me of the daydreams that were dropped halfway through part 4, and we're changing the rules yet again. It feels really inconsistent. By this point, the story is so convoluted that you really can't make sense of the story. I tend to never watch this film. I may watch it once every few years when I do a marathon of all of the films, but otherwise this is one that I always avoid, which is why I have to give A Nightmare on Elm Street 5: The Dream Child a skip it. While I like the cast and the effects for the most part, the story, the characterization, and the overabundance of comedy and lack of any horror really makes this film one of the worst of the franchise. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support the channel even more, check out my Patreon page. Link is down in the description below. Thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
Bon appetit, bitch. Filet de Barbie.